Well. You're welcome to our podcast for today. In our weekly segments, we've tried to dissect and help you understand a few principles, a few key things that you can actually learn as an individual to make some strides or to take off in life. And it's yet another time that we come to you and remind you of a few things. Well, it's almost mid-year. And I'll just read this text. It says, it's Luke chapter 14, verse 28 to 32. It says, "Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, 'This person began to build, wasn't able to finish.' Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Won't he first sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation while the other is still a long way off and will ask for terms of peace." So today we're talking about retrospect, looking back. In other words, retrospect often appears as the act of remembering or reflecting on God's work, faithfulness, and how our journey has been. It's more than nostalgia. It's an intentional act of remembering that fuels gratitude, growth, and renewed direction. It's a rhythm of looking back to move forward with God at the center. I really want to thank God for each one of you, because the journey from January to now May, it's incredible. We cannot just take that for granted. Philippians 1:6 says, "I am confident that the one who started a good work in you will certainly bring it into accomplishment." So as we look back and refocus our energies to make sure that this year's resolutions, those that were realistic, those that we have already achieved, do celebrate them, and those that were not able to achieve in this first half of the year, we refocus our energies and maybe realign ourselves. Let's look. Yes, it's media. It's a natural checkpoint to reflect, recalibrate, and refocus. Let's break it down into a few manageable steps for you. In other words, number one is to reflect honestly on the first half of the year. The Bible says, "Remember the former things of old, for I am God and there's no other." Isaiah 46:9. It reminds us, and I can remember many things that the Lord has done for you. And now, because now you need to ask some questions. For example, which resolutions have I made solid progress on or fully achieved? If you were doing a short course, did you complete it? If you had some goals at your workplace, did you achieve them? Many things happen along the way. If it was a relationship, how far? If it was a deal, a proposal, how far? So what resolutions? Which ones have stalled or been abandoned? There's some goals, there's some resolutions we set in the beginning of the year. Maybe to read a certain book, maybe to write a song, maybe to apply for the job, maybe, whatever you wanted to achieve, and maybe you have abandoned that. Think through that, what helped you and me succeed in the ones you did well. That those that you are sure, 100% sure that you actually achieved them. Come on now, and what helped you succeed in the ones you did well? Is there something that you would want to look back and succeed and know how and why? What helped you? Yes, maybe the other question would be what got in the way of the others? Could be time. Maybe you didn't have time. Well, when you say you don't have time, it means that you had other priorities. Maybe motivation. Maybe you were distracted. Oh, maybe they were unrealistic and realistic goals and realistic resolutions. Whatever I have asked above, you need to write them down and maybe answer. Take time and say, hey, by the way, I've made solid progress on this. And maybe I've fully achieved this and that. And then, categorize and reassess, or what we call self-examination. Re-examine yourself. The Bible says, let us examine our ways and test them. Let us return to the Lord. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 40. When we say retrospect, it actually includes evaluating our actions, our motivation, or what motives and spiritual progress. I am reminded of Genesis chapter 1. In creation, God always looked back. When you read Genesis chapter 1, verse 31, it says that God looked at everything and it was very good. I don't know your side. Maybe when you look back from January to May, how is everything? Is it good progress? Are you stalled somewhere? Are you not sure of your goals? As TBT would love maybe to help you out. Put each resolution into one of for example, achieved, in progress, or maybe I haven't started on it. When you say achieved, celebrate these milestones. And maybe if it's in progress, you're still moving, but maybe it needs more attention or strategy. If you stalled or you haven't started, it's time to ask, is this still relevant or worthy pursuing? You might realize that some goals no longer matter, and that's okay. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you anymore. Now, we've got to refocus with the media reset plan. It's what we call reset. Reset, refocus, restart. And as we refocus, we need to have a mindset of being grateful. And I remember what Psalms 103:2 says, bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. So as we reflect and refocus and reset our media plan or goals, refine the goal, break it down, schedule check-ins. And when we say schedule check-in, it could be a weekly, it could be a monthly review, help you keep the momentum. So as we look at retrospect, I would love you to think which areas are you still lacking? Which areas are you flourishing? Are you making great strides? Which areas, do you need help? Maybe a help of a coach, help of an accountability partner, which area, you know. So, because it's important that each one of us, you need to grow. When we were growing up, we used to have two words, change and growth, but maybe today I'll focus on growth. But we used to say that change, if you can't change, change will change you. And the word growth, it's actually inevitable. You have to grow. It's inevitable. And now you have to intentionally grow, and you have to choose your actions, your decisions, and all that matters. And recently had a discussion which stemmed from the word that who you are today is as a result of the decisions that you make every day. I'm going to repeat that and wrap this up. Who you are today is as a result of the decisions that you make every day. Think about that as you retrospect, as you look back, as you think through, reevaluate all that you were and how far and what can help you to go forward, to grow and become an amazing gentleman, an amazing lady, an incredible person in your field, in your career, at every stage of your life, and become what God has intended you to become. May God richly bless you.